Hi, you've stumbled upon IDology, the industrial design podcast. My name is Voytek, and here I pick the brains of industrial design experts. With all its pros and cons, generative AI is a great tool for both designers and the like. It might even look like a godsend for people who want to skip a step or two. For this episode, I sat down with Piotr Dalewski, a mechanical design engineer, and Rafal Piłat, senior designer and CEO at Mindsailors, to talk about why generative AI, in fact, won't revolutionize product design. Let's dive in. Okay, I think we can continue this conversation because we've had it before. And I remember you mentioned that before we talk about AI in design and why AI isn't necessarily a solve-it-all tool for industrial designers, is to first answer the question, why are product designed and how?
Yes, I think the understanding of the project background is crucial for the success of the product. And at the beginning of our design process, we try to deeply understand what's the vision of our customer, and we know that this specific device should fulfill some specific needs. Those products are very often innovative, they are not on the market yet, and we have no other products to compare them with. So, actually, we are just limited by our imagination, but this imagination isn't that easy to mold into the prompt we can put in some GPT or AI browser.
Yeah. So like, um, because you said that, if I understand correctly, this is a case of understanding ideas behind products in order to make the products good. And AI is something that is very literal, like you mentioned, prompts. They need to be very, very literal for the AI to generate something because you can't put an idea into a prompt. The AI won't know what to give you.
Yeah, actually, our customers don't want to have generic solutions, generic problems. Uh, our our ideas comes from sometimes many hours of discussions, many emails, some kind of workshops when we analyze those needs of the users, of the manufacturing companies, and even the vision of the investors or even all stakeholders. So to understand those needs and mold them into the brief, it takes a lot of time and also a lot of empathy. Like we need to understand the whole vision and whole logic process. So I think what is also important is that many customers have different visions. Different products are directed into different customers, but they also have different needs. For example, when some kind of company releases their first product on the market, they are focused on low volume manufacturing, and in design, especially in the documentation or the further development, we focus on the solutions that are fit to them. So, for example, we're avoiding the complicated or sophisticated assembly ways because those would enlarge the cost of introducing into the market. And for example, if we have large company, they released few products and they know their market and they know they are able to invest large amount of money, we can focus on more advanced technologies. So we before we design, we have to have a vision of this product. So if we want advanced design, we can suggest double injection molding or other uh, over molding, or when we are designing for the mass volume production, we're thinking more about the assembly. So we're using some kind of snap clicks, something that makes snap fits make assembly very easy and they limit the labor. So all those needs influence our design works. So it would be very, very difficult to write the prompt that includes all those items.
Rafał, how many years of experience do you have as an industrial designer?
Uh, about 18. I
About
would say.
18. So
Right.
that's 18 years, because it's very important what you said. You've mentioned empathy. That's 18 years of negotiating, extracting information and extracting intention from other people, from clients or coworkers or manufacturers, like you've mentioned. And that's the kind of work that just based on data or on information wouldn't be basically possible without empathy, without understanding how another person thinks, what they think of when they say something, because that's not always the same, right?
Right. Mhm.
So, do you agree that like this empathy can be a key to it all? That lack of empathy simply says no, this won't be possible.
I would say one of the biggest issues when working with clients is, like you said, extracting information from them. Very often we meet with clients who have hard times um, mm, who have hard times verbalizing their ideas, describing to us what they actually need. They are not even aware of certain problems that their product should solve. So that's why we not only have to interpret the wishes of our clients, but we also need to be able to imagine, to put ourselves in the role of people that will actually be using those products. So I guess this is one of the most important things for a designer, to be able to get into someone else's shoes and try to imagine how the product will be used and what potential issues and problems can arise from using such product. So current AI models have a very limited knowledge in terms of interpreting our ideas and our, let's say, finding solutions to problems that we have. They are trained specifically either on text or pictures. What they lack is expertise on, let's say, problem solving, which is related, for instance, to movement, construction, manufacturing process, etc. So in this regard, I think that the current gen, maybe the next generation AI or some kind of expert AI models will be able to work out certain problems or address them in some way. But the current gen is very limited in terms of creative process and creative approach to solving issues or problems which I mentioned.
Yeah, it's like I remember we were. I think you just once brought up a meme about how graphic designers are safe because if AI was to replace them, the clients would need to say what they actually want.
Right.
Because with every creative work, it's a process of mutual understanding before we can get to a result.
Yeah, I'm sure that many, not only designers, but not only industrial designers, but all kind of people who are dealing with clients and are working in a creative field will agree that guessing, that working with certain clients can be a guesswork rather than trying to interpret their intentions and their, let's say, putting a product brief into materializing into something feasible. So certainly we're safe in this regard.
I would like to add some words about this data extraction from customers, because when we start the product, we usually have brief, and we might say it's a kind of a prompt for us, but actually we're not only extracting this data, but we also validate them. We try to understand, as a more experienced ones. We try to understand the purpose of this device. We try to validate all those needs that customer sees, but also we try to define the problems that might occur and maybe add some additional functions that will improve the product.
Right.
So it's not about generating the design, but we'll also try to develop or refine the input data to achieve the best results.
Okay. That's also interesting because you've compared the project brief to a prompt for designers, which is a brilliant comparison. And still, when you give a prompt to AI, at least for now, it just gets to work. And like you said, the first thing you do is look at the brief with scrutiny, like with critical, confrontation with facts to validate if the brief even makes sense from the standpoint of the project. This is something that, at least I don't know. That for now, I'm not aware that AI can do something like that.
Yes, well, it's also very important that we are not doing it ourselves. Our team of designers is focused on that. We've got a workshop or brainstorming with a customer. So I would say like there are many, many computers that think about the best solution about it. And what is also quite funny during these workshops and meetings that I've noticed it's not that easy to communicate with each other because the words are the same, but actually we think something different behind them. For example, the client says, "I want something futuristic," and for someone it seems like okay, maybe someone like Star Wars alike. Other person will think maybe
Interstellar.
yeah, interstellar or cyberpunk or
Yeah.
so this the same word have few meanings, and that's why during the early stages of design process we communicate not only with words but we also preparing mood boards. So it's sometimes when it goes about aesthetics we communicate more with the pictures than with words.
That's true.
And when we try to explain something to each other we are like moving hands or trying to communicate, but not only with words. And when we are working with an AI it's not impossible. So that's a huge advantage when it comes to working with a design team.
But also, like what you've mentioned, design me something futuristic. AI will just take the cyberpunk examples, the interstellar examples, etc., mash them up, and give you something futuristic. That's not the way a designer works, basically. I mean, you as a designer, you use mood boards and inspiration, but not literally like AI does.
Right. I guess it's a matter always of taste, but aesthetics of a project or of a product is just part of the design because, again, the key element in each design is its functionality and construction. We cannot design, or I mean, we try not to design only things that are just looking nice, but they need to serve a purpose. We are not creating an image. We are cremating. We're not creating an image. We are creating a visualization of something which will eventually turn into a product. So the principles are completely different when you are thinking about building something from blocks and when you are just trying to paint a painting. So those are two completely different processes and they require completely different approaches as well.
Okay. What about? I also remember we talked about how AI handles reverse engineering, sort of like because we're talking about creating something brand new, new ideas, new products, new solutions, which doesn't necessarily mean new shapes or inventing new colors or whatever. But still, it requires a certain amount of originality, which is a problem when for AI that basically works on a set of images, but also to understand, like you said, the functionality because we know it's meant to be a device, not just a nice picture. And you've mentioned you've tried reverse engineering your designs with AI. How did that go?
It didn't go very well because when I tried to, when I asked, I think it was Midjourney to interpret or describe an image, what it actually does see, it had hard times trying to identify what not only what the device was, but also what was the function. So the guess was completely off. But then again, I shouldn't be surprised because in the end, even if we shown our designs sometimes to people, they do have also hard times trying to guess what the device or what the object, what is the functionality of this, what is the main purpose of such device. So I guess we shouldn't be expecting, I don't know, some kind of revolutionary skills from an AI model, which we should remember is trained on something which is already there and existing. So if it does come to a problem of analyzing an image which does not resemble anything existing in the world, it will have problems interpreting it. And it works also the other way around. When you expect a very creative shape or a very, let's say, aesthetics or a construction which should be original, which should not be a copy of something else, sometimes, let's say, the looks don't correspond to the functionality of an object. AI won't be able to work out on such specific design. So I guess those are currently the biggest limitations, in my opinion, when using the AI engines to generate even initial ideas for objects.
Can you give me an example of what you're describing?
Yeah, sure. We had a project which was a table for a hairdresser. It was hair dyeing furniture, a piece of furniture.
Like a workstation?
Right. A workstation for a hairdresser with the purpose of making the hair dyeing process easier. So we had a internal contest whenever someone came to our office, whether it was a client or I don't know, or a friend. For some time, we had a prototype in our offices, and we always asked the people, "Okay, can you guess what this device does?" And I don't think there was one person who was even close to actually guessing what the functionality was. I think the best guess was that it may serve some kind of makeup, like a station for making to applying makeup or something like this. But no one had guessed that it was actually a hair dyeing station or a hairdresser device.
Is it to a point at this stage, at least, that we're talking about AI tools in product design, that they are trained on data that is very universal? So AI can tell you that it's looking at a medical device, so it would answer like a regular person would. What's this? This is some sort of medical device. But if you showed that same device to a professional doctor or someone who works with similar devices, they would probably be able to say this is a portable ECG or whatever.
Yeah, I guess this is partially limited or partially related to actual teaching process of the AI, because I tried to train AI with my own images, with a set of images that I have prepared, and you can you can use the engine to actually try to guess what it does see, but the best results are you can expect the best results when you will actually make the description by yourself, and this description should be as accurate as possible. So for instance, if I'm showing an image of a person who is, I don't know, 6 years old, and the next image is of a person who is 7 year old, then I can teach the AI that the face on one picture in the first picture was a different age than on the second. So this is related to teaching the AI how it should interpret what it does see. So obviously, the better the description, the better the end result will be. And but still, like I said, even humans with generic knowledge will have hard times sometimes. Will have hard times describing the purpose of the device which they have not used or seen before. So I guess even doctors could have problems when we would show them, for instance, my Spyro, which is a portable spirometer. It does not look like any other spirometer, so I guess it might be problematic even to a doctor to try to guess what this device might be.
Okay, so for now, it is to some extent also a matter of like technical expertise or experience on the side of AI. Because like you said, it has general knowledge, general concept, but lack of expertise, of technical expertise, sort of makes it still unaware or unable to interpret what exactly is that it should design.
Actually, we don't really know what's the basic knowledge of some kind of AI. We know these are trained models, and the crucial thing is that we need to know which was the input data. So right now we can generate some text, some blog articles, creating the pictures, but looking forward, when it comes to designing the whole products, I mean, just creating whole CAD models and tooling from just a prompt, I think I see one big issue, that AI models are trained of some kind of data, and this data should be validated. I mean, the proven knowledge, proven designs, including all details like in design, let's say draft angles or bending radiuses or just the technical data. And if we want to train some, for example, such AI algorithm that creates this data, we should feed it. We should learn from the proven designs.
Right.
And actually, these designs are not available anywhere in internet
Publicly.
because uh, there are some kind of databases like GrabCAD when user can share their ideas, but they are not validated. They are not proven by tool makers, or they are just random data, let's say, and many of them can have some flaws, errors, and things like this. So when it comes to the investment, because the product development is large investment, we have that in mind. We should focus on validated data, and it would be very, very hard to get this data to train some kind of AI model to give us good results. And even because this is like secured data, we're not sharing our products and projects online, and even large companies, they are not sharing their products. You can see just a picture or some kind of render, but you don't have whole formula how to manufacture it.
Right.
You can reverse engineer it. So
You can
basically,
only guess to some extent.
guess or buy,
By
disassemble,
right.
measure everything, which is like whole very labor costly process.
Right.
But actually, I think training such model would be possible in some like closed environment, large company for some extent, for some kind of products like configurated, some kind of maybe roller conveyors, stuff like this. But it costs us lots of time and lots of knowledge, which isn't that which this knowledge isn't that easy to possess. And the sources of this knowledge are very limited, usually to be trained in some kind of design area. You have to be hired in some kind of manufacturing company, and then you're learning step by step. So I think this is quite complex. But on the other hand, as we are looking into the past, when some kind of technology developed, it caused increased on the global market. I mean, when new CAD softwares that uh, allow to design appeared, actually it caused the increase of product release on the market. And I think that development of AI will definitely change the market. It will change the way of how designer work. But actually, I think it will be more like a tool, or I would say an ally. So I think that people will be more creative, more inspired to develop new products, and more products will appear. But there's always going to be a need for somebody to prove it, to double check all the facts, and actually to fulfill those products, to bring them on the market, we will need somebody to guide the process.
Yeah, the way I see it, those tools, those, let's say, AI enhanced tools, will develop into some kind of assistance during actual design or modeling. I imagine that maybe we'll have some kind of uh, creators that will speed up our work. For instance, I don't know, you will select a few parts and try to merge them, and the machine will suggest the best way to merge them, or even will select based on the weight of the simulated weight of the parts, what would be the best nuts and bolts to use for such assembly. So maybe we'll see some kind of wizards that will enhance our work, that will simply make our work more efficient. But I guess I do not expect a model that will do the full work for me, because at the end, this is a discussion of knowledge versus experience, and I think the machine will always have some kind of theoretical knowledge, but without actual practical verification of someone else, or practical validation of a prototype, and experience coming from I don't know, working on different kind of projects or products. It will never be as efficient as a human who actually solved specific problems, or has a vast general knowledge on different subject matter related to product design in this case.
We need to be aware that design costs are just a fracture of whole manufacturing or whole design process. Depending on the project, it can be like about 10 or 15%. And to develop this project, you need competent, experienced designers or decision makers who will take responsibility for all those choices.
And not only designers, because this is a so complex process to develop a new product that apart from designers, you need engineers, you need specialists in other fields as well.
Yeah, you need logistics, you need marketing experts, business experts, financial taxes, safety.
Right.
So you need to understand all those stakeholders or perspectives in a product.
That's right. And each of those persons has some kind of role and influence in every project. So I guess it would be really it would be a wishful thinking to expect that AI will simply do all the work for us.
These are just our assumptions. So maybe in 10 years, these episodes will be very outdated.
And we will laugh.
Yeah, because there is a subconscious human need to tell ourselves that we're so irreplaceable and so unique that no AI will ever do it. But who knows? Maybe in time there will be a separate AI for each expert.
Yes.
And they will be working in tandem in AI industrial design offices.
That's true. And yeah, who knows? Because you cannot tell for certain that in how the models will work in 10 years, how the AI research will advance. Maybe the machines will do a better job than we do.
Well, probably until there's a huge leap in computing power, it's not gonna change.
Yeah, we still need to wait for actual AGI models, which have not yet appeared. And I guess until we do have something like this, we cannot expect, actual creative work and problem-solving tools.
Cool. Great talk, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
For many, generative AI might seem like this fantastic technology that will turn the world of product designers on its head. But in fact, it's a means to jumpstart, speed up, or simply make their process more comfortable. And sometimes that's more than enough to call it a revolution. For more discussions on industrial design related topics, do check out IDology, the Industrial Design Podcast. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, and other podcast streaming platforms.